Good afternoon. My name is Brandon Johnson. Welcome to this Cryptotheists special broadcast. That's the first of many modules basically explaining the basics of cryptocurrency. What is it, how to utilize it, how to implement it, and why is it so transformational in regard to our current economy, and what is it going to do to increase our agency as individuals as we move forward into this new era of communication and currency exchange. First of all, I just want to talk a little bit about my background. I'm an educator in communications. I've been teaching production, film, video, and television production, and some photography for the past 10 years. So that's my background. I have a mass communications background with a graduate degree in film and video production. So that's pretty much what brings me into this space. As far as cryptocurrency is concerned, I started off as a hobbyist in regard to cryptocurrency. Everybody in this field is pretty new, and we're all trying and exploring new things and ways to get out the word about cryptocurrency and why you should get involved in it, why you should get your friends involved in it, why you should get your peers involved in it, because it's going to be something that is going to be ubiquitous in the future. Paper currency is slowly passing away. It's very, very hard to go to any establishment that only takes cash now. Most establishments take credit cards, which is already the first iteration of digital currency, even though that digital currency is backed by the American dollar. These new iterations of digital currency are going to cut out the banking system altogether. And we're going to go over that now today as we discuss what is cryptocurrency. All right, so before we talk about what cryptocurrency is, we need to talk a little bit about what is money, because cryptocurrency is basically just a new form of money. All right, now, oftentimes individuals exchange currency with money. The two are not the same. And that's the first big misconception that we have to face. Money is something recognized as having value. So diamonds, gold, oil, those all actually have some kind of value. People want them, and so because people want them, they're going to utilize them. They're going to bargain and barter for them, because that's how money. That's how the exchange of money happened in our society. Why we have money to begin with is because, first of all, we started off as a bartering system. I'll fix your roof for 2 cows, stuff like that. But then we started to recognize certain things had more value than other ones. I wouldn't fix your roof for 2 stones, but cows actually provide food, milk, and clothing with their leather whenever I kill them. So there's value in that cow. There's no value in those stones, unless we're talking about a diamond here. So if people want it and it's in demand, then you are wealthy. You would be wealthy if you had a herd of cows and individuals were hungry and they needed clothes and whatnot. Currency is just a representation of the wealth that you already have. Walking around with a bunch of cows and giving away cows for services and whatnot really isn't that practical. I'm not going to, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I've got to maintain the cows, I've got to transport the cows. It's a big hassle. So what we did instead was we created currency, and the currency was a representation of the cow. So if I created a cow bill, that cow bill might represent half of a cow. So over time, as I walk around and try to get services and whatnot, I basically would hand out these cow bills as IOUs for part of my cow ownership. So as my cow gets older or whatnot, and I have a baby cow, and you can come to me someday and you can take a cow from me at my ranch wherever I live, instead of me having to walk around with that cow. All right, so that currency is backed by by the actual money of the cow. Okay, so currency is a representation of the wealth used as a streamlined means of exchange. I don't have to walk around like cows. Government recognized currencies are called fiat. So in America, we have the dollar. In China, you have the yuan. In Japan, you have the yen. But we have fiat-based currencies all around the globe. All right, but due to inflation and manipulation, the American dollar hasn't been backed by anything but debt and hasn't been since 1915. Cryptocurrency is different in that it is both money and a currency. All right, so how is that possible? In order for something to be money, it's got to have value, but it's digital, right? So how in the heck is a digital object valuable? I can't carry my computer around. I can't spend it. I can't spend my computer like that. I can't utilize that data for anything actually practical, correct? So how can it be valuable? This is the biggest issue that individuals have with cryptocurrency. The value comes from the utility. Even though you don't think that it's valuable because it's just data out there in the ether somewhere, just like your credit card information is data out there in the ether somewhere, it is actually useful for a couple of reasons, and we're going to go over them right now. Okay, different cryptocurrencies have different uses. For this example, or today, this module, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and its use and how it is implemented as a store of wealth. The wealth of Bitcoin can be distributed all over the world between any individuals without a middleman like a bank. Bitcoin is also global with no centralized control. So this is one of the biggest assets or one of the biggest facets of cryptocurrency is the fact that I can communicate, I can interact with anybody all over the globe. Normally, if I wanted to interact or send money to somebody in Mozambique, I would have to go to a Western Union or I'd have to go to a bank and get that money wired over there. That bank or that Western Union agency or PayPal even, they're going to take a portion of those funds. They're going to be able to identify who sent what to whom somewhere. There's no anonymity in the exchange. And yeah, it can be tracked, it can be taxed. If Mozambique wants to tax the money coming in, if the government here wants to tax me for utilizing that service, then yeah, they can do that, and I just have to suck up that fee. If they refuse to take that money, then I have to deal with that situation as well and try to find some other alternative. Bitcoin allows us to bypass all of that. All I need to have is the wallet address of the individual in Mozambique, and I can send my Bitcoin from here in America to that individual over there with no problem. So how does Bitcoin work if it's doing all that? This simple thing called blockchain technology. What people don't understand, a lot of people have this misconception that Bitcoin invented blockchain technology. No, blockchain technology has existed for a while. Bitcoin is the first currency that's been created that utilizes that blockchain technology. How does blockchain technology work? Well, each Bitcoin or Bitcoin fragment is unique data protected by cryptography. That's the beauty of blockchain technology. This data is consistently held on an immutable ledger that is recorded and distributed among a bunch of different computers. Okay? That data is cryptographically sealed, meaning that there is coding that goes into that data that protects it and secures it that can't be broken. That cryptography ensures that the data can't be tampered with or duplicated. So I don't have to worry about somebody over in Mozambique cloning the Bitcoin that I'm sending to the person that I'm sending it to. They can't copy it. It's all tracked. Every ounce of that data is recorded on that ledger. Okay? So I'm talking about a ledger. What is the ledger? Well, Bitcoin is a lot like a digital pie, all right? Every person who owns Bitcoin owns a part of the pie. Transfers of ownership are recorded on a digital book called a ledger. So you don't physically actually ever hold a Bitcoin. For those individuals who tell you that, a Bitcoin is some physical object that you can hold in your hand, it's not. The Bitcoin is basically your access to that digital ledger that is stored on a variety of computers in the cloud all around the world. Any transaction that you make between yourself and another Bitcoin holder is recorded forever on that ledger. All right? And the pieces of the pie can be broken down into smaller and smaller pieces. One complete Bitcoin can be owned by hundreds of individuals. So how does that work? What's the best real world analogy? Well, we have a dollar, but the dollar can only be broken down to at its smallest fraction into 100 pennies. The most amount of a dollar that individuals can hold is 1 cent. So 100 people can own $1. But with Bitcoin, because you can break it down smaller and smaller, you can have 1,000 people who own $1 or 1 Bitcoin. All right. So if somebody loses their dollar, or somebody loses their part of the dollar, the rest of the dollar becomes much more valuable because of the fact that that dollar is not, or that fragment of Bitcoin is no longer accessible. It's lost. And so it makes the remaining Bitcoin that much more scarce. So this is where the value is built into the currency. If you lose a penny from a dollar, you still just have 99 cents. But if you lose a fragment of a Bitcoin, then yeah, the scarcity of the Bitcoin goes up, the value of the Bitcoin goes up, and its comparison to the real world dollar goes up. All right? So each person's pieces of the Bitcoin pie are tracked using digital wallets. I've talked about this before. So your wallet is basically like an address, like your home or whatever, okay? And the blockchain, the ledger on the blockchain keeps track of what you have in your home. If you own 5 Bitcoin, then that's going to be on the ledger, and everybody can see that. That's another thing too. If I know your address, I can observe your wallet. I can identify exactly what's in there. So if we want to have transparency in regard to government and banking and whatnot, this is the most transparent way to do that. Do you have to give your information to other people? Do you have to give your wallet information out to other people? No, but you can make your wallet public so people can see exactly what you have in there if you're trying to be transparent. Where does Bitcoin come from? Well, basically, individuals called miners solve complex equations on computers to complete transactions between individuals and update the ledger. Okay? They are rewarded Bitcoin for this service, and they are also paid small transaction fees. This is called a proof of work model. Now, is cryptocurrency perfect? No, and here's a couple reasons why. One, the technology is new, all right? So basically, there's a lot of quirks and kinks that are being worked out in regard to some of these cryptocurrency technologies. Bitcoin is the oldest cryptocurrency technology, and up to this date, it really hasn't had a lot of problems or any problems in regard to it being hacked. It is secure, and that's why a bunch of individuals have been able to put their money into it. However, the technology, as far as computing times and whatnot, whenever the load on the network is excessively high, we've seen a lot of issue in regard to congestion and processing of transaction times. And so what we've done to compensate for that are basically the Bitcoin, those individuals developing for Bitcoin have come up with numerous ways to work around what we call the scalability problem and making it more accessible so we don't have to deal with those load times. But the beauty of cryptocurrency is that Bitcoin isn't the only blockchain out there anymore. There are literally hundreds of cryptocurrencies, some of them which handle transactions much faster than Bitcoin, which can take that load off of Bitcoin. So as this blockchain technology becomes ubiquitous in the financial sphere, you're going to see these transaction times go down in regard to time as well as price. The second issue is the fact that the end user is the greatest point of vulnerability. There are ways for me to lose my Bitcoin if I use this technology improperly. If I send Bitcoin to a wallet that doesn't accept Bitcoin, then that transaction will never be completed and that Bitcoin will be lost. So individuals can do things that cause them to lose Bitcoin, whether they lose their keys to their wallets on a hard drive and that hard drive is thrown away, or they die and they don't pass those keys on to somebody else, or like I said before, somebody is just careless and uses the technology incorrectly and ends up sending their cryptocurrency access keys into the atmosphere. Okay, and so this drives up the value of Bitcoin because that cryptocurrency is lost. You know, there is a limited amount of Bitcoin that will be created, but then at the same time too, it creates a certain instability when it comes to the security of it. I can't call a bank; it's not insured, so I can't get that cryptocurrency back. It's just gone. So that means you need to be that much more secure and that much more educated if you plan to use this technology to store any of your wealth. Am I advocating for complete transfer of wealth into this new technology? No, but there are ways that you can utilize it that can be beneficial to you. And as the technology continues to grow and different companies continue to make products and devices and applications and services that streamline the process, that risk is going to go down significantly. All right. Lastly, the price is volatile. Because cryptocurrency is so new, there's very, very few people who are aware of it. And as more and more people become aware of it, less than 10% of the world right now has a digital wallet or deals in cryptocurrency. But as more and more of the world begins to embrace this technology and embraces these different currencies that are coming out as a result of that technology, you're going to see more and more fluctuations in price while individuals collectively determine what is valuable and what isn't. And so that leaves a lot of opportunity for growth. If you know something or you believe in the technology and you believe that it's going to become valuable in the future, you believe that it's going to be the next Microsoft or the next Amazon, and you purchase it now when it's at the low price of $2 or $3, then yeah, maybe 5-10 years from now it could be worth $5,000 for a portion of that platform. So there is volatility that can go negatively if a project fails or loses support or it's a scam. Or it could go positive if a project is backed, supported, maintained, and upgraded over time. Only time will tell. But the most important aspect of cryptocurrency technology for me, and the reason why I'm so evangelical about it and passionate about it, is this point right here. Cryptocurrency is digital freedom from the fiat-based banking structure. We know the games that have been played utilizing the American dollar. We know the games that have been played around the world by other corrupt banking institutions. We've seen governments fall. We've seen governments fail. We've seen power change over. We've seen corruption. And Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like it allow us to circumvent all of that and get rid of the middleman and put the agency back in our own hands. No more financial crises being manufactured in boardrooms by individuals who don't deal with our day-to-day lives and have to deal with the repercussions. Okay? So thank you for tuning into this module. Thank you for watching it. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Hit that bell if you want to get the notifications for new posts, new updates. Also join my Facebook group that has over 300 members at this moment. We're trying to get numbers up. I'd like to see more females and minorities in this space because there is an opportunity here for us to have an egalitarian financial system that everybody has access to, that everybody can benefit, as long as they do one thing: respect the tech. Thank you very much. Bye.